off, Wade.
Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel Q&A. My name's Doug. So, wow, we are in the last week of our third annual Scary Sequel Month, and I gotta say, it's been very special. We've had old guests come to review, brand new people. We did an in-studio episode, and we had some amazing guests to interview to hear about some of our favorite sequels that we had the opportunity to cover. And we're finishing on a high note. The last week of October, you know what that means. Halloween. And the next sequel that we're going to be reviewing is Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, the pivotal point in the franchise when they said, we got to bring him back, but we got to do it the right way. Because I say, if this movie didn't work, you would not have gotten 5, 6. You wouldn't have right now people crying or loving Halloween Kills if it wasn't for the fourth movie. And I was lucky enough to interview Kelly Meeker herself. Wow, the amazing actress Kathleen Kinmont. We talked about her legendary actress mom, Abby Dalton. Of course, her death scene, the details to her death scene in Halloween 4 were so cool. I've seen all the Halloween 4 documentaries and behind the scenes on YouTube, and it was so detailed. I loved it so much, hearing about what was involved and what went into it. We also talked about Gloria, her role in the last sequel that we reviewed, Bride of Re-Animator. She talks about that. She talks about, obviously, her book, I Should Have Been Nicer to Quentin Tarantino, and other short stories of epic fails and saves. I love this book. I'm not just saying I love this book because she's our guest. I sincerely love this book, and I did the Audible version, so I was able to hear her voice inflection about some of these stories, and man, we talked about a few of them during the interview, but you want to make sure you buy this. It's at KathleenKinmont.com. I'll put her website in the description in the episode notes so you can check it out. This is a fun interview. You're going to love it, and if you want to watch the video of it, you can go to sequelsonly.com/Kathleen Kinmont. If you want to see her, she looks amazing, and she is an amazing human being. And then I'm the Porsche love on the other side. But we reveal that the name Doug, she has a close person in her life now whose name is Doug. And the person who it actually is, it's going to blow your mind. So sit back, relax, check out this interview. You're going to love it. And do me a favor. If you're new here, welcome. Please subscribe wherever you're listening, rate us, and then also follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. If you're back for another time, hey, welcome back. Looking good. You smell great. Did you change shampoos? Good call. But please, you as well. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it. If you haven't followed us on social media, do it as well. All right, that's it. I'm shutting my yapper. It's time for our last interview of our third annual Scary Sequel Month. Here is the lovely Kathleen Kinmont.
I'm good. Hi, Doug.
I can hear you. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
Pretty good. I had a lot of fun. I didn't finish your book yet, but I did choose the option, and I don't think I'm ever going to read a book again. The Audible is amazing.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
I just think it adds like this extra flavor to it. When you're reading it, it's in my voice. So when you're hearing some of the stories, like your story, when you're talking about Renegade, me and my wife had a good laugh listening to when you're that chapter on it, just your voice inflection and just, I don't know, it's really special hearing the way you want people to hear rather than them in their own voice about your life.
Well, thank you. I took a lot of time recording it, and my producer, Patrick Lydon, who helped me do it. It was really just the two of us. And we spent last summer, COVID, recording, 432 pages close to, I was just like, I remember day one, I was just like, oh my God, it's just like, how the hell am I going to tackle this? Because it is such a unique type of performance, because they're my words, they're my stories, they affect me personally. And to not allow that part of the truth of what the experience really is to come through would be A, denying myself the experience, and B, the listener. So yeah, I went for it. It's a lot of fun. And I also really wanted to keep a solid through line to it as well. And I think that the way the whole book is structured, with having epic fail, epic save, lesson learned tied into the end of every random story on random things, but are kind of interesting. And if people that actually know me, who are buying the book and know who I am and are a fan, they won't find it random. But I also wanted it to be a book for the person who isn't the fan, who doesn't know my career, and would still be able to relate to me on some other human level. So I thought doing the Audible is really one step closer to that, to getting to know me, because when you hear my voice, you get to experience the person, almost like looking into their eyes, almost.
No, exactly. And the book title is, so like you said, fans of, Bride of Re-Animator, Renegade, Halloween 4. It's the people that wouldn't, maybe they haven't seen those movies, but that book on a shelf, somebody's going to pick it up and skim through it, because that title alone is just, I love it. And that whole story that's something that I want people to read your book, because I think it's phenomenal the way it's, if people want to read or listen to it. But when did you realize, because I don't think you touched on it, when did you realize it was him? Like later, when did you put two and two together, where you saw a movie come out with his name on it? You're like, holy crap, that's the guy from that class.
When you meet someone, especially with a name as unique as Quentin Tarantino, right? Quentin alone is such a unique name. How many Quentins do you actually know? I know one Quinn, and it's a female. Her name is Quinlan.
Oh, okay.
Actually, Elizabeth Grayson's daughter, the lovely and amazing Elizabeth Grayson from Highlander, the actress.
Oh my God.
She named her daughter Quinn. And my daughter's name is Aiden. So those two grew up, and it was Aiden Quinn. Aiden Quinn was one of my favorite actors ever, too. Quentin, he was like 2 years older than me. I was 16. He was 18, probably turning 19. He was not Quentin Tarantino yet. He was just some kid in the back scribbling at his notebook, wanted to be an actor. He thought also a writer, though definitely a writer. And that's why he was like, I really want to write a kissing scene for us. This is like day one for me. I'm like putting my bike over, trying to figure out like where's a good spot to put my bike that A, no one's going to trip over it, B, no one's going to steal it, and C, I don't even really want to be seen with a bike, because I'm like in a room full of adults, like recognizable TV actors from Love Boat, Fantasy Island, and, MacGyver, and Simon and Simon or whatever. And maybe it was before MacGyver, but I just, it was just so unnerving. And I think that it's a really unique experience. Not a lot of people get to have those, those experiences with people before they become somebody else. I'm sure like, oh yeah, I went to high school with Tom Cruise or whatever, but it's, I don't know, just being in an acting class, it's kind of holy ground, really. It's like a therapy room. It's a very trusting room. You have to leave all your inhibitions at the door and jump into a pretend.
Yeah.
But, everybody knows it's pretend. It's just one of those, it's a jam session for actors. It's like we're all kind of showing up like insecure musicians, and everybody wants to play the right note. Nobody wants to be like, dude, what are you doing? Is that how you're going to do it? So everybody wants to be accepted, and everybody wants to be liked, and everybody wants to do it right. So it's just everyone's unnerved. And that was no different for me. It was my very first foray. And it was You know, I told the coach, I'm like, don't put me with, I can't. I just want to learn how to play a teenage kid with some parents. You know, I'll do a mom scene, I'll do a dad scene, I'll do a mom and dad scene. It's just like, I remember just being like, start me slow, please, please. Don't be like, Quentin, you know, like, I love you.
Oh my gosh. How did it get to that point? Like the acting, obviously, like with your mom, like you grew up in it. Do you remember like what age you were maybe like going to set or realizing who your mom was? Because that's got to be kind of different.
Well, my first real recollection, which is so circus style atmosphere of visiting her on set with the lights and the set and the, you know, it was on at the studios. We're at, I believe it was NBC, which was really close, which made sense because I grew up in Toluca Lake, and NBC is, you know, Bob Hope, Burbank area.
Yeah.
And they were shooting Hollywood Squares. And Hollywood Squares at that time, back in the late 60s, early 70s, they had this other version of it called Storybook Squares. And Storybook Squares was when the celebrities would dress up as a storybook character.
That's awesome.
So my mom decided that her forte was the Wicked Witch, which was just a nondescript Euro Wicked Witch, just my pretty. Yeah, whatever it was. It was just like, you know, pick something from Wizard of Oz, or, you know, so she put the hat on and the nose and the chin and just, you know, actually probably had a really cool jacket like that. And yeah, she would just kind of terrorize us a little bit before she would leave to go to work, me and my brothers. And then I would go and see her do this thing on the set, and then go with her into her dressing room and watch her take the whole thing off. So it was like, oh, it's just so weird and magical.
Yeah.
Really, oh my God, just the transformation. And there was a lot of like, see, honey, it's okay. You know, like settling me down. Like, you know, I'm under here and, you know, it's going to be all right. Because I was like, you know, freaking out. Are you really, you know, who took my mom? I was pretty young and impressionable.
I bet.
And then it became like all of this dinner theater. And I remember getting up and going and, you know, working on the Waltons or working on game shows. She did a lot of game shows. She worked a lot right up to the point where I was born. Really, I was born on the Joey Bishop show.
I saw that. That's your credit. It says baby. That's great.
Day one. And they were waiting for me.
That's great.
For a while. I was like, I was a month late. My mom said I came out with long hair and fingernails.
Ow.
I know, right? Yeah. Right here.
Right.
Sorry, Mom. I don't feel like it. I'm just not feeling it. What's my motivation? My mom's like, to get out of here.
Get out.
I have been watching Call the Midwife, and I can't say enough great things about this show because, you know, I'm a mom. I have a 16-year-old daughter, and their show is so beautifully done and so specifically made for women who have had children or women that haven't had kids and love caregiving, like nurses, women that have never had children but love to take care of people and are of service. And that's primarily it. Because like the show, I mean, I'm watching it like this, like sideways. I'm like, take it. Now they're always like showing the corn getting cut. I'm just like, I can't stop watching it.
That's your
Like
horror
Grey's
movie.
Anatomy.
That's the gore that you watch now. It's just get away. I cannot turn.
Doug, you're absolutely right. It's literally it's 1950s forceps and gas and poverty beyond compare, and never enough money, and it's just like, oh my god, the intensity it takes to have kids arrive on this planet, to see what women actually really go through in that most scary, beautiful, magical moment of when life arrives, and how fragile it all is, how fragile the woman is giving birth, and how fragile the baby is when they get here. We're all just so susceptible to the people that take care of us. And man, that movie, that show, I'm like 9 seasons in, I'm just like, I can't get enough. I cry every episode. And I love all the English accents, all the different regions. It's just so good. I had a British nanny too. So maybe you saw that part in the book.
Oh, no, I didn't get to that yet. Wow. So that's what you could do. If you have to have a crying scene, people can go to you and be like, Kathleen, how did you get to that moment? Was it something from your childhood? No, I just thought of season 5, episode 2, called the Midwife.
Push, love, push. That's right. Little tiny breaths. That's right. Yes. Oh, it's great. I mean, it's like every single episode.
That's great.
Babies are born.
And
you learn about a new disease that they didn't have the cure for yet. And you're just like, oh my God. Oh my God. Life was so hard.
Jesus.
So hard. Life was so hard. And it's still so hard. It hasn't gotten any easier. It's not like, oh, wow. Yeah. It's all a breeze.
Yeah, right. So from your, growing up on a show, not growing up, but being a baby on a show, to 16 in that acting class, was, growing up with a mom that's been in, TV, movies, did she was there any pushing towards, hey, Kathleen, you'd be great at this? Or is it something that she lets you make that decision on your own?
She definitely let me make the decision on my own. There's a wonderful word that has really been coming up for me. It's called autonomy. And it's autonomous is used a lot in just general terms of democracy and being allowed to make your own choice without being coerced or manipulated or threatened or shamed, or just, and having that kind of respect or just an awareness in relationships. And she really, really had that. She knew that if she pushed me and it sucked and I hated it and something bad happened, I mean, not that it would be like, oh, I would always blame her, but the truth is, even if you really want to be in this business, it sucks. It's hard. It's bad. So you have to really, really, really want it. And you have to know that it's going to be a heartbreaker too. And I think she was very clear about that without making it sound like, this business is horrible. It's just like so boring. Nobody cares. And you know what it's like? Sometimes when you do that, people are like, I'll show you. Yeah, it's never been easy for you, man, but not for me, So I'm like, my mom was just really, you want to do it? go down the street and go sign up for acting class. Here's a check. I will
Yeah.
support you in going to find out if you really want to do this. You can't just go and get headshots, in a bathing suit. And that's pretty funny. Headshots in a bathing suit. Here's my headshot. Which I'm totally wearing something super sexy just to emphasize that, like, hey man, this is part of the business, but it's not all the business. It's a totally visual medium, but you have to have the talent to keep people entertained, because I don't know, everybody watches everything right now, and the audience, I think, has only just become more of a critic and gotten better and has endured more content, which of course, if you read more books, you're going to become more of a scholar. If you watch a lot of movies and television, you're going to naturally see what moves you and what doesn't move you. I mean, it's not about, it's not about good acting, bad. I think it's about like what really moves you, writing, visually. There's so many components. It's not just about one thing. I think it has to do with a lot of different. So I think she really installed that with me too. Like, hey, it's not just going to be about you as the actor. Go and learn what it's like to be learn your craft, and B, go work on a crew and be part of, something. And she was really like, respect the people that you're working with. That was one thing that she really instilled in me. Like, it's valuable to always really respect people that are working for you and giving you their all, so for a collective, even if it's people that come and work at your house, or come and work, the guy that works in your car, and dentist that works on your teeth, or just the appreciation, or the person who fills your prescriptions, at the weed store and at Rite Aid. Yes. Be nice to these people. They're inside. They're not getting fresh air.
Yeah, and make their day. It makes their day, because everyone else is just going through the motions saying, Johnson, give me my pills. You give them that smile, say something nice. How's your day? Yeah, you could change someone's day. I believe in that as well. I practice that.
I agree. And there's a really good story on repetition about smiling and giving back. And sometimes you got to know your audience on that. But I think it's really valuable to be like, and chicks, we hear this, guys are like, hey, smile. And you're like,
take the high heel off and throw it. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. But I think that there is some value to that. Sometimes we just smile a little bit, psychs the brain. So I
have a daughter, so I get it. Like, it's so crazy when you don't think about so many things, even like reading baby books or reading articles about babies or even about products. It is insane how many baby products just feature the word he. It's insane.
Wow. Because all babies should be a boy.
I'm happy I have a daughter. I'm so, when she came out, she's gonna be 3 on Christmas. I was just like, yes. We knew already, so it's not like I'm saying like, what is it, Doc? It was I don't know, just something that I wanted. It was like, I don't know, just something that I felt like, I don't know, weird connection.
So Doug, were you there for the birth?
Of course, I was there throughout the whole thing. We waited 3 days.
Where were you positioned? You waited 3 days?
I was on the left leg.
Left leg. Okay. So down below, like you got to see, you got to watch your daughter enter the world.
Yes.
Exit your wife, but enter the world. Congratulations.
Nothing
See,
like
that's one of those things on Call the Midwife where they're just starting to see the benefit of that for the man. I mean, because I'm sure you know that was an archaic viewpoint, or not in it was a viewpoint that thought, oh man, if the guy sees that, he's not going to be sexually stimulated by her
Oh
anymore.
my God.
Yeah. So
I
it's
believe
not.
you, but it's crazy to think about some of these things. They're like, you see the tropes in movies. All the guys are in the waiting room with cigars, just waiting for the baby to come.
Mhm, mhm. Right. Right. Because the baby's really going to love that, having been the first, puff of breath. And who also is a close freaking second to that is the mom who's trying to catch her breath and gagging and turning green from, the wafting, noxious fumes of cigar smoke. There's the place where I go to get my mani-pedi here in LA is literally right next door to a cigar thing, right? These guys. And it is so Goodfellas outside of this joint.
Yeah.
And I always feel like I'm in Little Italy when I come in to get my, and I'm having to kind of dress a little bit, and I'm finding myself like, oh, this is kind of cute to go get the mani-pedi, because I know it's just a show. It's like right out of one of those Life magazines where the guys are like, "Hey, baby, you're looking good. Yeah, you look happy," and they're just like, and you're just like, you can smell it under your mask that you're wearing. It's getting in there, and then I get into my mani-pedi place, and I'm just like this, going.
Oh God,
Wah,
amazing.
wah, wah. Yeah, LA guys, they're just like, yeah, on a Sunday, and then the church is right there. It's just,
And then they go
where
over
am I?
there and do the
Jersey?
same thing. Yeah, that's where I'm at, Jersey. So
Oh,
it's the
you
same.
are?
I
Oh,
am
wow.
Jersey.
Oh my gosh, I was going to ask. I didn't get to ask that. The good,
Oh
the
yeah,
bad.
yeah. I grew up in Central Jersey, so only like it's funny wherever you move anywhere in Central Jersey, it's still like 45 minutes to the city. So I grew up, I was like 30 minutes. Now we moved out closer to PA because it was cheaper and more property. So we're still like 40 minutes from the city, so not too far. But we have a place like that by us, and it's always the same three guys smoking cigars outside this place. And I'm like, how are they in business? It's the same three guys. They probably own it.
Yeah. And they're scaring away all the business.
All the, all the cigar smoke.
How's the money laundering going, Joe? Freaking priceless, man. It's nobody.
Nobody's
just churning and
oh my gosh. So Kathleen, what was the first thing you did? Was it modeling or was it the acting? Which
definitely acting. I was a
Yeah.
kid actor, kinda. I mean, not really kid, commercial actor.
What were some of the commercials you were in?
I did this is in the book too, on entitlement. I don't know why that makes me giggle so much, but I was a kid. I was like fourth grade, fifth grade, maybe.
Yeah.
Got cast in this little commercial for the Sunshine Family. It was like a little Mattel thing. And I'm sure I got it because of my hair or so, just like, just put the little, do a little diverse casting, and this kid's going to play with this kid and that kid's going to play with that kid, and, all the different people and whatnot. It was really cute. And I loved the toy because they were just so nothing. They're just little animal features. Anyway, so that there's a whole story about that goes down with me and this kid who kind of get into it on the set. But
oh my gosh. All right. Save that for that's
yeah, that's a good story. But I was more like into sports, but then kind of got back into acting around 15, 16, where I was like wanting to do plays in school and really wanting to go for the big parts, wanting to be a lead. And so I went for those and got some. And in high school, I got some. And then really started pursuing it 17. I was getting headshots because I'd already been in class for a year and a half, feeling like I was ready to start auditioning, taking some other classes, cold reading classes. I was in a cold reading class with Gino Havens, who ended up being the casting director for Hard Bodies.
Oh,
So I was
look at
already
that.
in his cold reading class. So he brought me in, and Mark Griffith was in there, and that was my very first acting role.
That's great.
And that was straight out of high school. I was 18. It's really crazy. Darcy DeMoss and I are still really great friends, and I've known
Oh,
her.
really?
Great, yeah.
Oh, you knew. That's pretty funny. So she's Jason Lives, and then so you see each other a lot, obviously from being out. I don't know if she's still in the area, but and
Yeah.
then I'm sure at a lot of the conventions when they were happening. And
I've never seen her at a convention.
really,
No, we never really ran into each other. I don't think. No. I hit her up on Facebook, on a Facebook Messenger,
yeah,
because I was doing a podcast. I wanted to do podcasts. It was called Kicking It with Kathleen Kinmont. I did 2 of them. And the whole premise was like, I want to bring in people that I've worked with, but then I want to surprise them with other people. And then surprise that person with somebody else and have it be all part of the same film. So
that's
what
awesome.
I did was Hard Bodies with Darcy. Well, it started off with Courtney, and then it became Grant, and then Grant Kramer. Well, Courtney Gaines, Grant Kramer, and then Darcy.
That's awesome.
And then the other one I did. Oh, actually, no. The first one I did was with Danielle. That's right. It was Halloween 4. Danielle Harris, and then I surprised her with Ellie Cornell, and then I surprised Ellie with Dwight. No, with Dwight Little. I surprised them both with Dwight Little.
That's great.
Isn't that fun? Yeah,
That's
it was
awesome.
fun. It was. I was like, this is a lot of work.
It,
Like, how many things can I juggle during COVID and try to release a book? So
you could
so
do it.
Underachiever.
You did it.
Oh, lazy.
So then you have I don't know what came first. If Hard Bodies was first, or you played model number 2 in The Master, which show
You know what? That's so weird. You just read my mind, because I'm looking at your shirt right now going, I can't wait to tell them about the good, the bad, and the ugly moment.
Yeah, I that's what I was thinking about, the connection between the two. Yeah.
With Lee Van Cleef. That, what a day that was.
Yeah.
Model number 2. I think I was wearing this outfit. I was definitely brushing my hair like this and talking to Timmy Van Patten, right? Timothy Van Patten, that became the Sopranos. I'm the director all the time. Yeah. He became fucking Emmy award-winning director, and he's amazing. Anyway, Salami, right? From White Shadow.
Yeah.
White Shadow. What's that about?
I used to always love that show on White Shadow. I love that show on Nick at Night.
Why'd they call it White Shadow? Because he was white.
Because he was the white coach. He was the white coach. Yeah. not too good.
I'm brushing my hair like this. I get stuck like that. But the day I arrived to that set was so early in the morning, because I was always told, be early, especially in Thomas Guide days before, and now make a left.
Yeah.
So I get there, the fog hasn't lifted, and I find a place to park. I find trailers. I see some guy, and he comes over to me and he says, so what's going on? And I said, oh, I'm here. I'm on the show The Master. That's this show, right? This is The Master. He's like, yeah, this is the show. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. He said, what are you doing? What part are you playing? So I'm like, I think I'm like model number 2. He's like, oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Doing the full blown check me out up and down. So now I was saying, so what part do you play? Are you on the show? And he's got my hand in a freaking vice death grip.
Jesus.
And he goes, I'm the master. You know, I was like, dude, where's makeup? Oof, good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
That's my ugly story.
Oh
I'm
my
sorry, I
God.
don't care. You know, there's some people out there that really take advantage of young impressionables.
No,
I
I get it.
just find that when people start believing their own bullshit, look out.
Yeah.
Whoa. Not enough room in this planet for us both. That was just such a wide range of ego. I couldn't even deal. I mean,
Yeah,
that
I
was
bet.
like day one. Fortunately, I was only a day player.
Yeah. Only day.
I was thinking to myself, oh, this is what Gary Marshall was talking about when he said day players will kill you. Yeah.
Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a 1-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
So that's like 84. You have those two, and then 85. You get a role that you're pretty fond of when you were talking about it in your story. Just the connection you made from it in Fraternity Vacation. You play Marianne and Barbara Crampton, and that movie has a great cast.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Cherie Wilson actually just texted me recently about, I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about, I mean, whatever. If somebody wants to do a remake or like some kind of reunion style,
Oh,
and bringing
cool.
in some of the original cast members playing, themselves now. I think I definitely should be like a real estate agent in the neighborhood.
Yes.
Yeah. I think I should be selling to all the gay guys in Palm Springs. I think that would be so fun. And have just a super gay assistant guy named Daisy or something. I'm just going to write my own character.
Yeah.
And he just checks all the boxes for every diversity thing that you could possibly need. And he's like in transition to, like, and he's still a question mark. He still doesn't know. Like, he's all the boxes. And he's just fabulous. And we're just crushing it in Palm Springs. And I don't know. And I'm running for mayor.
And then you get the phone call for the reunion, because it'd be cool to see Barbara, who just had a pretty big movie come out. Amanda
Oh my gosh.
Bierce.
Yes. Jacob's wife.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Jeez. Tim Robbins, Stephen Jeffries.
Amanda Bierce. I just worked with Matt McCoy on
really?
On a Hallmark Christmas movie 2 years ago. Came out last Christmas called Merry Christmas Match. Yeah, we played husband and wife. No, I'm circling back, so I'm definitely into, absolutely. That was what I wrote to her. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure. I love all those people. Lee McCloskey, Cameron Dye. Cameron. I mean, God, Valley girl. Come on. I think Cameron and I should be married. And he's running for governor. Like, John Vernon was the mayor, or maybe Tim Robbins is the mayor.
Oh, that would work. He's got mayor vibes. Or
He does
senator or governor.
Oh, yes. Yeah. We had some fun on that movie.
Yeah.
Fun. Yeah, and I was too young to really be having that kind of fun, actually.
Oh yeah, you were probably 19 or
I did
20.
not have a fake ID. All those guys were going out to clubs on Friday and Saturday nights, and I was just like, oh well, I guess I'm gonna get my rest, and I'll get up early and go for a bike ride. And yeah, I brought my bike with me so I could stay fit. Jesus. Yeah, that film. Okay, next question.
Now, just to go forward, so like we'll circle back to a couple things, but so like Bride of Re-Animator, I love the story in that. So again, I'm gonna tell everybody I'll get on top of a mountain and say to listen to your book, read your book. I just love everything about just the way you talked about that experience. Now, they told you after you got the part, correct? They gave you a copy of Re-Animator, right? Is that how it went?
Yes.
Did you call Barbara right away when you're like, or did you know that she was in that one, or did you start watching it and be like, I know her, I need to reach out to her?
Yeah, you know what? I don't think I had her number at the time. Those were the days before cell phones and I don't know, like staying in touch. I mean, she and I never really like fraternity vacation. I was like, okay, well, I finished that one. Check. That's like real mirror because my mom was cast to play the Mrs. Tveit character, Stephen Jeffries' mom.
Oh, okay.
So she had already agreed to play this part without reading the script. Okay. So you can imagine my nerve-wracking state of mind, knowing that I had already filmed a few certain scenes. And my mom was scheduled to come down next week, and I hadn't told her what I was doing, nor had she read the actual working script. Oh they might have faxed her scenes, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And I was like, yeah, Mom, it'll be great. We'll be in Palm Springs. And we'll be like, kicking it. Jesus, what was I thinking? But I was shitting my pants. I know that's for damn sure. So I was like, I'm going to drive back home and talk to my mom, So I get in my car and just like floor it to LA. I was like, what am I going to say? I get home and I like, tell the truth and tell it fast. So I did. I was like, I got some new scenes that I already know, and they're already filmed, and they're already done, and it's already happening. So that, She's like, what? What did you just say? Wait, you had some nude scenes. You've already filmed them. It's too late to back out. It's already done. And I'm like, no, I gotta go. Yeah. So I kind of let her know what the situation was. I had to. I couldn't do it over the phone. I knew I needed to do it in person. I drove all the way back on my day off. And she pulled out. Unlike everyone who watched the film.
Oh, that's amazing.
Why would you? It's a movie. It's totally fantasy. Sometimes you just got to do stuff just to face that dragon, but it was fun. I didn't really stay in touch with Barbara too much, but I love her. She's great. And then we've seen each other at conventions. We've done conventions together.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, when I saw what she had done in Bride of Re-Animator, I was like, damn, hats off to you, girl. You can she's free, really free.
Yeah.
And no, like, I'm so sorry. I'm so embarrassed. No apology. Like, no, I'm playing a role. That's, it's a huge piece of what the whole movie was about, is taking it outside the box. Like,
Exactly.
you're so far outside the box, you can't even see the box. The box doesn't even exist. Was there a box?
That's what makes those movies that are so, you'll never see a movie like that. So somebody watches those two movies, they could say it's good, it's bad. No matter what, you're walking away seeing something you'll never see again.
Yes.
And that's what is beautiful. I'm talking to Brian.
Usna.
Yes. Next week.
Awesome.
And I wanted to ask you, because you talk about obviously the rigorous makeup, but did they give you any inkling? Was there any screen test beforehand, or did they say, you got it and you're in for a rude awakening?
The second thing you just said.
Yeah. That's great.
But it wasn't, I think instead of a rude awakening, I think you're in for a ride.
Yeah, cool.
With some really incredible professionals that will take really good care of you. That's what I felt when I was delivered really to K&B Effects Group in Chatsworth via myself driving myself out there. I sound so like a royal queen when the box was set down by my Egyptian slaves. And I stepped out. So as far as like a screen test, like you were asking, that was really as close to the precursor of what was in store for me, was that day at K&B with all of the body casts, face casts, individual body part casts, feet, hands, neck, face in repose, face screaming, holding my mouth open for 15 minutes while it hardened, became a mold.
That's great.
So after that day, like my naked body being covered in wet freaking plaster in an air-conditioned warehouse in Chatsworth, sounds so like the beginning of a porn. Which, I was like, I was totally down. It was art as far as I was concerned.
Yeah.
What I was doing was something that somebody like me doesn't really get to have that opportunity. Maybe Natasha Henstridge in Alien, that cool Alien movie.
Oh, The Species, yeah.
Species, right.
Yeah.
She got to do some really cool practical stuff. I mean, these days, the practical stuff is CGI. But I mean, they're still, as far as like being an actor working with CGI, you're still using like ping pong balls and things that aren't normal, But I kind of really like the whole practical stuff where you can see like, I'm a goopy fucking monster.
Yes.
And I'm feeling this in my core. And yeah, I don't have to conjure it up through my brain. And yeah, it gives more people jobs. I don't know. It's such a hard, I don't know. I really like what K&B does. I love what they did. It's hard to say that people that don't create the CGI aren't artists as well. But it definitely was a lot of time in the makeup chair. And I really got to know those guys. And those guys were so enjoyable and so wonderful that it's no wonder Quentin uses them for everything.
Yeah.
And they're just incredibly well respected and, have won several awards, and they're just a total blast. I mean, that one where they're all like gluing the pubes onto me individually.
Oh, that was, I know.
Yeah,
when I heard that.
Could have probably done without that, but then, that's how you really get to know people.
That's how you really get to know. So I think this is a perfect segue. You talked about practical. So with your scene in Halloween 4 as Kelly Meeker, cops do it by the book. Now your death scene, was there anything like difficult about filming that or anything at all?
Completely, every single moment of it.
Really?
I was sitting on a bike seat that they had welded onto a chair. So they had it mounted onto a chair so that I could sit on something and have my legs dangle, right? Then they drilled a hole into the door in between my shoulder blade level, so that the harness that I was wearing, the wire that was going through the back of my shirt could go through the door, and they could, on the other side of the door, pull me up. So I'm sitting on a bike seat without any bicycle pegs to take the pressure off of, my bike seat.
Yeah.
And then the shot is getting yanked up, right? So they did that, a series of those. Sure, I don't know. 12 minutes, maybe 7, 8. I would say 12 minutes start to finish from being up there. It's a pretty long time. Long enough so that my guts are feeling like, tension on the harness. It wasn't comfortable, but I really did feel protected, and I really felt like these guys definitely had my back, my front, my dangling legs. Everything was all fine in consideration. And it didn't, I was a trooper. And it's interesting. I've been watching The Kaminsky Method. That's such a great show,
yes,
too.
I love it.
And yeah, isn't it fabulous? Michael Douglas talks about dying. You know that? Have you seen the whole series?
I didn't watch the most recent one with Kathleen Turner.
Okay, you gotta watch that.
I gotta. But him and Arkin, just seeing him and Arkin, I'm sure if I looked on both their IMDb's, they might have crossed paths over the years. I don't know when or what movie, but man, seeing those two, I don't know. It's one of those like nostalgia things when you see like these big time legendary actors like finally work together, and just their banter and being together, just even when they sit at the restaurant and just eat or have a drink, just their back and forth is just, I don't know, something like special to see that.
Just them watching the guy bringing the drinks to the table.
Yes.
It's really, honestly, there's so many moments with those two and with the show in general where it's the quiet moments. That's the moments where there isn't any dialogue. Like Susan Sullivan, who was on the Falcon Crest series with my mom, who plays Alan Arkin's wife, that whatever, I don't want to be show or anything, but I get to see her in a couple of weeks from my mom's memorial. I'm really excited because I get to tell her, like, hey, you're so brilliant. Like, even the stuff where you literally have nothing to say and you're just a reaction, I'm floored. I'm laughing so hard because of who she is and Alan Arkin. Yeah, it's just so great. But to get back to my point, Michael Douglas talks about dying, and it's really what you were asking about, my death scene with Kelly Meeker and Halloween, and how it's such a responsibility as an actor to make that moment as real. And, it's not just about reality, it's about humanity. The humanity of seeing your life like pass before you, and what that means, and that to dive into that fear of letting go of, like, is this really happening? And I think that's where I was. And I think that because of the absurdity of how I was totally wrenched up there, up on this bike seat and this harness. I didn't know how they were going to do this gag. Yeah. And I didn't know I was going to particularly be the one to do it. This was a big movie with a big budget that had a lot of stunt people that were being utilized all the time. for the kids, and they had someone, for everyone. And I was like, I saw it, and, I knew what it entailed. And they were like, how do you feel about it? I was like, I'm good. Let's go for it. I'm down. I'm fit. I'm strong. I'm an athlete. I know how to move my body. I've been a dancer and whatnot. And I'm an actor, number one. I don't want anybody else doing my part.
Yeah.
Kind of covet the whole experience, even reaching in like a hand, like my hand is my hand.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do my hand the way I want to do it. It's gonna be a specific hand movement. Can't just be like, yeah, let's get the insert,
The other hand.
And I've been that person. I was that person for Kristana Loken for T3. I've been a stand-in. That was my big stand-in moment. Wow. I was already an actor, but it's in the book on jealousy. You have to read that.
Oh, cool.
Or listen to it. I keep forgetting you're the.
No, it's okay.
The sound guy. I love it. I love that. That I have. First of all, that I get to say it that way. Second, that you're a fan of it, which is so cool. But the responsibility of keeping it real, so that people have an emotion surrounding it, instead of being like, oh God, you want anything but that, especially in that moment. That's the last moment. That's it.
Yeah.
So I remember just being really uncomfortable, being really like, let's get this over with. Let's get this done. I don't like this. This sucks. And I just remember being like, that was the space I was in. So it was like every time I kind of kept coming back up, it was like, so I think it showed that I was.
You probably utilized the fear that you had of being on that, bicycle seat into your emotion in the shot.
This is the look.
Yeah. Now, with that, the cops do it by the book. Was that like a war? Did somebody give that to you, or was that just in wardrobe?
It was scripted.
It was, okay.
It was scripted. She changes. No, that's what I'm wearing when Brady shows up. Yeah, that's my hot, sexy. Look at me shirt.
It was.
Yeah. This is my daddy. I went to the mall and I had some shirts made. I had a shirt made, Dad. This is kind of like, because, I respect you so much, Dad. And you're just awesome, Dad. And what do you think, Dad? It's like a boyfriend shirt. Yeah. Yeah, it's a sleep shirt. Cops do it by the book. And the guy, the prop master, his name was Bucky. Hence the guy that was wearing the helmet that says Bucky, when the guy that gets electrocuted.
Oh, wow. I got to look for that. That's great.
Yes. That's such a great little, what do you call it? Easter egg.
I love that. Yes.
Yeah. His hard hat says Bucky because our prop guy had to insert himself somewhere. That's not the prop guy playing that part. That's a real stuntman actor. And when he came with this shirt, Cops Do It by the Book, I was like, wow, felt? I remember just saying that, like, felt? It's going to get all rubbed out, like, I'm going to be rubbing on him. And I thought, I hope these iron-on things stay on there. Who knows? Who knows how things are going to land? And then that shirt is like, oh, yeah, the Cops Do It by the Book. So great. And then apparently I got a little uncomfortable in that and changed into a flannel.
Yes, you did.
Because it wasn't really appropriate for Dad's detective friend. Like, what do you think? Do you do it by the book?
Yeah.
Are you one of those off-book guys?
Amazing. When you auditioned for that, did you know? I know some horror movies, especially those big franchises, some they like to keep it very hush hush. Did you know it was Michael Myers' movie when you auditioned?
Oh yeah, I knew it was Halloween.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We didn't get the whole script. We just got pages, audition.
Oh, okay. Because I know for Jason, I interviewed some people that worked on part 8 and part 9, a casting director for 4, 5, and 6. And they were saying that just because they didn't want it to get out that they were doing another one. Because those movies kind of, I guess all of them do it. They kill the guy at the end and then somehow magically appears in the next one. But like for part 8, it was called like, I forgot what the guy told me. It was like a normal guy's name. It was like Fred something. And it was like, oh man, this is a movie about this crazy guy named Fred. And that's what they thought. But they just got pages too. But they didn't know really until they got to when they got cast it. Okay, this is actually a Friday the 13th movie. So that's good that they let you guys know. And that was a lot of pressure after the third one didn't have, I think it's a fun movie to watch, but it just didn't have Michael Myers. So that fourth movie is one of my favorites. Danielle, what she does as a kid in a horror movie is like the best ever.
Yes, we were all inspired by her performance, truly. And just her as a kid. I think we were all just really from the same technique of let's just have some fun and make a scary movie.
Yeah.
Right? Like we knew what we were doing. We're making a scary movie. Let's like jump into that world of scary movie and just everybody just be real and normal and and it wasn't, we didn't have a table read, I don't think. No, we just all got to Utah and it was like, hi, we're working on a movie together. Come to the set. We'll film your scene. Cool. This kid's name's Wade. Hi, Wade. I'm going to tell you to get lost in a little bit. That was the original scripted line.
Really?
Yes. Which we filmed. And then Dwight came up to me and said, hey, for shits and giggles, can you throw in a little, I don't know, fuck off, Wade. I was like, what? I thought he was joking. I couldn't stop laughing. I'm like, no way, that's so funny. That's so funny. That's so funny. He's like, really? Do you think you can do it? And I said, well, give me 2 more minutes to laugh. Just give me 2 more minutes. I have to laugh and then I have to get irritated to like a place of like, I have to get back to that place because it's just really not me. I'm not a bitch because I'm better than.
But you said that word great in one of the chapters of your book.
Which one? Bitch?
Well, in the Renegade chapter. When you're talking about the guest.
Oh, yeah. Bitch. Bitch is hungry. Give bitch a power bar. Bitch, I'm running out of power bars. Bitch needs a fucking new outfit. Somebody give bitch. I know. Yeah, true stories. Anyway, yeah. So I think that it's really valuable to not be, shitty.
Yeah.
Who needs that?
The golden rule. You treat people how you want to be treated. It doesn't always come back right away. If you're giving, sometimes you're not getting it back, but one day it will be, and it's not going to make your day terrible to be nice to somebody, No,
it doesn't take a whole lot of time to pay some good stuff forward, for sure. It's very valuable.
So,
and then you also got to think like, if I'm not getting something back, can I say something to this person? Do I feel safe enough to say, hey, I feel a little neglected and da 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 da? And are they going to go like, what? What's your problem? Why are you so? Or like, oh yeah, I do, or super defensive, or they'll be like, oh really? Oh okay, well let me work on that. And then when you have that kind of scenario, those are the people you want to keep giving to.
Yeah.
I think that's the new awareness of like, yeah, I can be a super giver and I can be a people lover and an encourager, supporter to my friends, my family, the people that I barely know, whatever. But I think it's really important to to find out who is also a reciprocal celebrator of you when you celebrate others.
Exactly.
And yeah, and to save yourself from trying to save everyone.
Yeah. So one thing I just want to touch on, because there was like this point in my life, just based on I was born in 86. So like growing up, like USA Network, like around that time, they had so many great shows. Like obviously Renegade. They had, and then Walker Texas Ranger came along, I think, I don't know, around that time or a couple of years after Renegade started.
Same time.
Pretty close. Same time? All right.
Yeah, pretty close.
And that show, and I think it was cool when you mentioned it in that chapter, was I love shows like that. Even Walker, just so many guest stars that when you watch the show, you're like, I know that guy. Or you go back and watch one. Like I watched one today, just a random episode on YouTube, and I'm trying to think what the name was. It was, God, I'm trying to think. The actor was he played George H.W. Bush in W. He was in Gordy. He's in a million things. If I said his name, you might know him, or if you saw him, you know him. But he plays like this professor, and he takes out Bobby in one of the scenes. Bobby goes to like interview him at a college.
Oh, is this the guy that was in Babe?
Yes, Babe. That's what it was.
James Cromwell. Yes. Oh, the brilliant, Academy Award-winning actor.
Yes.
Actually,
so it's funny when you watch these shows, or even like you watch Walker, you watch you're like, oh my God, that's Brian Thompson from Cobra and Terminator and all these things. And I love shows like that. I know now the Avenue is like all the cop shows, or like I like to call the Chicago shows, the night of all the Chicago fire, PD, and all of that. But there's something about that era, because it you had so many people that you grew up watching, even though I didn't grow up in the early 80s, but all these movies I loved, and you'd see these actors, you're like, oh my God, that's the guy from Halloween, or that's the guys from Jason. And it was just really special to see that on that show.
I completely agree with you, Doug. The merry-go-round of guest cast was just that. You'd see this guy, that guy. It's like picking the special horse that you want to ride. It was so exciting to see who they got to play these characters. We already had the script 3-4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks in advance, and then you'd hear I don't know, Wayne Newton is going to be playing one of the parts, or it was just Sam Jones. I mean, he had so many great, but Marty Cove. We've had so many just priceless, and Leah Remini, Elizabeth Grayson. That's how I met her.
Oh, really? From that?
On the show, yes. Great females, great male. All the actors that we had on the show, and all the directors that came and guested on the show too. It was a treasure. It was a real treasure chest of people, memories. The crew that we worked with in San Diego were just incredible, hardworking people that are still working in the business now and doing great work. And I feel really, really lucky to be a part of that experience. It's too bad I didn't get to stay into the 5th season.
Yeah.
But
so I didn't know that. I was listening to your book, and I look at the IMDb's and I watch clips of movies and stuff. And I'm like, wow, there's 3 or 4 movies that she is with Lorenzo. So maybe somebody saw those movies and they said 5. So they were like, wow, they'd be great together on a series. And then yesterday I got to that chapter and I'm just like, wow, okay. And then it all changed. It's
so crazy that Lorenzo and I had both worked with Branscombe prior.
Oh, okay.
In different things, in different films. Because Branscombe was major stunt guy, coordinator, and worked on just everything. And Stephen Cannell got a hold of Night of the Warrior that Thomas Griffith wrote. Thomas Ian Griffith, who's now going to be featured on Cobra Kai.
Love him.
Right?
I love him. We covered Karate Kid 3 and we interviewed Sean Kanan. Man, Thomas Ian Griffith, his role in that movie, it's perfect because it was bonkers back in the 80s. But if he is, I don't know what he's going to be. Maybe he's going to be the mayor or the running for governor because he's going to be something. But go on.
I actually wrote myself a character to be associated with him on the show, but I don't know how. I really don't know how to get it to him.
Wow. Instagram.
Yeah. I know. Well,
people look at their Instagrams. That's how we get, honestly, that's how a lot of people get back to us. And I never thought that would happen when we started. I messaged managers. Like I went on IMDb Pro, I reached out to those people, and then they were probably like, who's this schmuck? Like I didn't have anybody that I talked to. And it's so cool that people are kind enough to take the time, like yourself, to take that trip down memory lane. But you never know. Give it a shot.
All right. I will. Maybe I should. It's Johnny.
Yeah.
William Zabka.
Really? Yeah, Billy Zabka. Bad boy of the 80s.
Just because I have a boyfriend, so I had to put the actor crush way, way in the back burner. I have an awesome boyfriend, so I don't really think about anybody else right now. Yeah, he's great. He was in a band called Crazy Town. Remember that band? Come, my lady. Come.
Wait, your boyfriend right now?
Yeah.
So funny thing is, because my daughter is trying to teach her about gardening because everything that happened with COVID. So we started like they did after World War II. We started on like Victory Garden and we did all the plants and she loves it. So we did wildflowers this year and we had butterflies on our wildflowers. So of course I made a video and played that song in the background.
What?
What is he the singer?
He's the bass player, Doug Miller.
What?
Isn't that crazy? That's Crazy Town right there.
That's the definition of Crazy
Town. That's 1 degree of separation of Crazy Town. That's not even any degrees. That's 0 degrees.
How long have you guys been dating? If that's too personal, you don't have to. I don't know why I'm asking.
No. I'm proud of it. I'm really proud of it. It's coming up on a year in September.
Cool. Congrats.
Yeah. Thank you. I love him. He's a wonderful guy. He's great.
How'd you meet? Do you guys say like, I'm an actress, I'm a bass player? How does that work?
Right. I'm a celebrity. Respect me. Google me. Actually, it was really, really super cool because it was during COVID.
Yeah.
So I was walking his neighborhood with a friend of mine who lives around the corner from him. And she was saying, oh, we got to go by Doug's house because Puddin loves Doug. And Puddin is her little dog. Oh. And her dog, because he's like a dog whisperer, this guy. He has.
And his name's Doug?
Doug Miller.
I like him already. Great name.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
Great.
It's got a good name.
It's a rare breed. That's a rare breed of person. They're usually pretty nice. I've never met a bad Doug, so that's good.
No, me neither. And my ex-husband's name is Doug too. My last ex-husband, and we're still really good friends. And he's a good guy. Doug is a good guy. I even say that in the book, actually. Yeah, nice. Doug gets it because he's a good guy. I think that's actually the line.
Good.
I'm serious. So anyway, we were walking the neighborhood. We got to go see Doug because Prince's in love with Doug. I'm like, okay. And here's this guy who's working in his shed, and he's covered in tattoos and sawdust. And I'm like, okay. And the dog is like, and he's like, and Doug's like welding or doing something with sparks, and he puts it down. He's like, put it. He sets down his hot welder and, comes over and starts making out with the dog on the sidewalk. And I was like, wow, that dog really likes him. He really likes the dog. So anyway, I saw him a couple more times in the neighborhood. I mean, I had a mask on, I had a hat on, I had glasses on, I was wearing shorts probably because it was hot still. It was last summer, last August, probably right at this time.
Yeah.
Probably a year ago today. Who knows? I don't even know. And then I met him a couple more times. I saw him, and then it got a little dicey in their neighborhood with all the protests. And my friend who lives alone, I said to Doug, I said, hey, if anything goes weird and wonky in the neighborhood, it'd be great for you to have my number, for her to me to have yours. She doesn't have any family here. She's from Virginia. I really wasn't hitting on him, although it sounds like I was.
It does sound like it.
It
sounds like a line.
Like it was, but I really, really wasn't, because I was really trying. I wasn't, because I was like, it's COVID. I mean, I wasn't like, oh, hey, let's hook up during a pandemic. I really wasn't. But he was like, yeah, sure. We'll exchange numbers, which we didn't do in that particular moment. But then I guess she saw him the next morning walking her dog, and he said, hey, your friend's kind of hot. Can I get her number? And she was like, what? And he's like, yeah. And she said, oh, well, let me find out. So she calls me, and I said, well, I kind of already offered up my number to him.
I just never gave it.
Yeah, I gave him my number, but I guess this does put a little bit of a different spin on the situation, where before I was like just trying to be safety patrol, looking out for wayward, and I'm like, okay. And so she gives him my number, and I think, I guess I'll hear from him in like a week, because it's LA and nobody ever acts like they really give a shit. So that's the way. Hey, I think you're cool. Let me give you a call. And you're like 3 years later. But anyway, I'm like, okay. So he calls me that day. And we talked for like a while.
Wow.
For about 45 minutes. And then he's like, I really don't actually do this talk on the phone. And I went, oh, okay. Well, okay. He goes, but call me. Bye. It's been a really long conversation. I really don't do this. And so, I was like so intrigued.
That's amazing.
And then we went on a couple of dates when everything opened up again. And we dated. Yeah, we've been dating.
That's awesome. Congrats.
Thank you, Doug.
So book and a Doug during the pandemic.
Boosh, 3-pointer. Yeah.
So Kathleen, this has been my favorite chat ever. But one thing I just have to ask you about on your IMDb. So Phoenix, is that coming out soon, or what's the plan for that? Because that story, just the little blurb, the little synopsis is very interesting.
Wait till you see it. It's going to be so cool.
Sweet.
Yeah. The director writer is great. His name is Brian Lambert, and he's just brilliant. And his wife, Lorraine Price, plays the lead. She's the Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
I think. And Grace Byers is in it. It's just really, really strong, and just espionage bitchin'.
Nice.
So I'm excited. I'm really excited to be a part of something that's really, it covers so many things that are dark and gnarly, sex trafficking and drugs.
So where is it going to be on? Do they have that out yet, or still shopping?
They don't have their platform.
Okay.
They have their producers, they have their money, they have all that stuff. It's all getting finished. And then I think that they're going to go and shop it and see who wants it the most. That kind of thing. I think that's how a lot of people are doing it now. And that's how the buyers are getting used to buying. Give me the 6 episodes so I can put it on and stream it, make all the money, and then I give you the money for the next 8. So hopefully that's what happens. It's completely open-ended for that to happen.
Nice.
The storyline is great. The characters are really cool, and the way they filmed it all here in LA. And yeah, it's just really bitchin', female-driven story of You know, what happens when you don't know who the hell you are and you feel like you're being programmed to do shit that's pretty heinous.
No, I like the premise. I'll keep tabs on that. So
Cool.
just one last thing. Just I don't even know if I might keep this part in, but so Nick Vallelonga, that guy, does he know everyone in Hollywood? I feel like that's one name of people I talk to that they have a connection to him, whether it be like Ari Mihailov, who played Texas Chainsaw Massacre, who I interviewed. He worked on a movie with him. DB Sweeney was in a movie, Stiletto, that he did. I think I interviewed like 6 people.
Movie. I went to the screening of that movie.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. Did you see that movie?
I did watch it. When I interviewed DB, I watched it. Because Rob Schaefer was in it too.
Yeah. It was so many great people in that film, but DB Sweeney played such a gnarly role. Like, yeah. It's very graphic torture.
It is. He's a gnarly guy. DB is.
I'd love to work with him. What do you think?
No, he's a great guy. But out of everybody I talked to, he's an actor. Obviously, he's a great actor. He's done some phenomenal roles. He just sounds like this guy. Like, yeah, acting. He loves cooking. That's his thing. He wants to do like a little cooking show. He loves cooking for his daughters so they don't eat like crappy food. That's like what he loved talking about.
All right. Okay. Well, there's a lot of value to that. That's cool. Yeah. Like we are definitely what we eat.
That is true.
And I was talking to my 16-year-old about it. Like it's 80% diet. Don't fool yourself. Thinking that you're, working out 6 hours a day and eating crap. You can't do that. It has to be in conjunction with what you're doing, if you really want to see results and stuff. So, I mean, that's really what I've done all my life. And it's not about, discipline and, denial and, you can't have this, you can't have that. It's just about what you have and making that so good for you. So, yeah, and kids these days, they really need to learn that because everything is so freaking disposable and so convenient, Here, let's have some food.
Oh, I know.
Off the train.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Remember TV dinners?
Oh. Think about eating that as a kid. Ugh, those Encore Salisbury steaks. I don't even know if they were steak or Salisbury. I don't know what that was.
And here's the truth. There's so much hunger going on in this country that some people would be like, hey, you know what? I'd give anything for Salisbury
exactly
right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I actually like those things. And I think that once in a while, whatever you want to have, whether it be a corn dog at the doghouse or, half a pizza or whatever, like, don't deny, do the things that make your body feel good and put a good spin on it in your brain. Like, hey, you know what? I really actually deserve this and I'm really going to enjoy this instead of eating it with so much guilt and shame that it all turns into toxic mud in your system because you're ingesting it with such a crap attitude.
Yeah.
I think that it's really important to really embrace things in life that have, even if they're a shitty situation, put some kind of a positive prayer spin on it. Like the person that you're having the biggest problem with right now, being able to pray for that person and see them in a light that that encourages them to step into their own joy, into their own peace, into their own light, so that they're not in so much agony that it's seeping out to everybody else. Those are the powerful things.
That's powerful. I think that's a perfect way to end it. I usually spend an hour, so thanks for spending the extra time. And I had a blast.
Thank you, Doug. Me too. A lot of good laughs.
You're so much fun. Really, you are. Yeah. So yeah, this will be out probably in a few months, but before that, I'll promote it. I'll put it on the link on my website for everything and put it on Twitter and mention it in my episodes and stuff because I just love what your story is. And I don't know. I think it's cool. Obviously somebody else that like, just got into acting and they just like but I just think it's so cool just where you came from and with your mom being in it. And I don't know, it's a very unique story and your spin on it. And I love the way, like I told you in my email, I'm helping this actor, Larry Hankin. He's a character actor. He's been in 200 things. I'm helping him write a book, and ours is like not close to being done yet, but he has these little stories from little movies he was on. And I just love everything about the setup of the book. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you, Doug. All your words mean so much to me. It really touches me a lot. I appreciate your enthusiasm and support.
No problem.
Thank you. So
now go to Doug. Is that Doug?
Yeah. He actually doesn't ride a bike. Thank God. He has a really loud truck, though. It's probably twice as loud as that motorcycle.
All right. Well, yeah, you go to Doug, and thanks for taking the time.
Thank you. You too.
You're my butterfly, sugar baby. What are the chances that me and my daughter are doing a little video with the butterfly garden that we set up for her this year? And she is dating the bassist, Doug, perfect name, from Crazy Town. It was Crazy Town, like she said. Man, so many amazing stories about her mom, almost going to be Stephen Joffrey's mom in Fraternity Vacation, and that whole story. Her kill scene in Halloween 4. I told you, it's so detailed. I loved every second of it. So make sure KathleenKinmont.com. Great book. You got to check it out. Listen to it, read it, whatever your preference is, but just do it. And here's your homework. Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Like I said in the opening, this is a pivotal point in the franchise. Anybody else can say, oh, well, no matter how this movie was, this movie could have just ruined Michael forever. And it turns out to be one of my favorite Halloween sequels. We'll see. Jamie has never seen it, so it will make for an interesting conversation. So don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.